The information in this video is provided for informational and educational purposes only.
Welcome to Dose of DN, where you'll get a little shot of what my life is like living with SMA. It's summer here in Minnesota, which means travel season is in full swing. But if you'll recall from a couple of videos back, it's quite the challenge to do even an overnight trip. And forget about flying. I haven't flown since I was junior high. And until you can stay in your wheelchair to fly, I will avoid it if at all possible. It might be getting closer to becoming a reality. I have seen prototypes of a plane seat that folds up to accommodate a wheelchair, kind of like you see on buses. But I think there's a lot of logistical issues that they have to figure out before that can happen. So I'm not holding my breath that it'll happen anytime soon, even though I'm hopeful that it will continue to progress. But that just means to do fun things in the summer, we have to look local. Last time I was at my mom's house, we were scrolling through Facebook, and there was an ad that popped up for a local vineyard, Rolling Forks Vineyard. It's just in the next town over. They were advertising their honeyberry wine. And if you'll remember from a few years ago, Mom and I went honeyberry picking at a local patch. So we thought it'd be really fun to see what honeyberry wine tasted like. So we decided to give it a whirl. And as luck would have it, the vineyard also had an event going on that day. They were doing a fundraiser for the local animal shelter, which means they had vendors set up in their little courtyard. So it was really fun to do that with my mom and just do something a little bit different. So come along as we head to the vineyard. It was a windy day and the terrain was a bit of a challenge, but it sure was beautiful. I made it to the end of this scenic overview that overlooked practically the entire vineyard. You could see where the glaciers had carved out areas and it overlooked this pristine lake. It was just breathtaking. We maneuvered our way back to the vendor area where they were struggling to not have their products blow away. But we did grab some artisan bread for lunch later and then headed inside. Even though we didn't take an official tour, we found the room where they sold various souvenirs. You could also see their wine barrels and some of their production space. It was pretty interesting. In their wine tasting room, they had various options you could choose from. You could choose to try a flight, which I think was 4 or 5 selections that, well, you could pick from dozens, but you got to try 4 or 5 1-ounce portions. They also had the next tier up, which I think was 2-ounce portions, and you got to go home with a collector's glass. They had rhubarb wine slushy you could try, and just various restaurant menu options as well. Mom and I decided just to try their honeyberry wine, which is what we went there for, and even though I wasn't a huge fan, we did go home with a bottle. The samples are so small I had to get every last drop. Sometimes there's nothing like the comfort of home. So we took our bottle of wine, our artisan bread, and the cheese and meat from a local meat shop that we stopped at on our way, and had lunch at home. But I just wanted to show you guys this because if you struggle traveling like I do, I want you to keep your eyes open for local events that interest you. There's sure to be something in your area that's fun to do and in your wheelhouse. So don't be afraid to look around and say, hey, let's do this. You never know what kind of fun things you'll find. But that's all I have for you guys today. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.